Look, Sam, look, if you died, I would pilot your corpse into any woman you so choose.
You're still listening. This is our final transmission.
Oh, we're here, Jamie. Hi.
Hello, Sam. How are you?
Oof, I just couldn't be better, I don't think, even if I tried. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Just basking in the good news that you told me earlier.
Good news. Have you heard the good news?
That murdering son of a bitch O.J. Simpson is dead.
Oh, yeah. That is the good news.
Do you think he did it?
Do I think he did what? Die? Yeah, he definitely died. I don't think he's faked
Okay.
it. I don't think he's capable of. I think if he was going to fake his own death, he would have done it sooner than now.
Yeah. Do you think he is a murderer?
If the glove fits, you got the shits, or whatever the catchphrase was. Who knows? I guess we'll never know because he's dead now.
So we've dated this because I guess he died on the 11th of April, which is the day that we're recording this.
Ooh, that's a content no. This isn't going to be evergreen now. What if he comes back to life? We're fucked.
Shit.
What if I was wrong and he's not dead?
Do you know who else is dead or not dead or something?
You're going to make me guess who's dead.
No. That's the game that my dad likes to play.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you-
yeah. Old people love that shit, right? Guess who died? I don't fucking know, Dad.
Yeah.
Good game. I'm into it. I can't wait to be old enough to play that without it being totally tragic. If one of us says that now, it's like, fuck, really? Someone died? Give me 30 years. You'll be like, ooh, come on, juicy. Who died?
Well, it's always celebrities with my dad. He's like reading the paper and he's like, oh, he died, didn't he? I was like, who died?
I thought you were talking about like old people of your dad's age.
It's always like, oh, you remember Jimmy Edwards? He's dead. But like when he's reading the paper,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, he's dead, isn't he? I don't know, Dad. You're reading the paper. I'm sat here looking at you.
Waiting to leave.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
with that in mind, where were you going? Who is dead?
I don't remember.
The Marleys were dead to begin with.
Yeah. The Hidden was dead good to begin with.
You know someone's fucking pig ignorant as dicks when they go to quote Dickens and they do the Muppet Christmas Carol version instead of the original. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, yeah. There's only one Marley
Plural
in the book.
Marleys.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoops.
It was the best of Kermit's. It was the worst of Pepe the Prawns.
Oh, Pepe gets a bad rap.
I once had a dream that I lived in a house with the Muppets. And every time Pepe got angry, he would turn into... Do you remember Earthworm Jim?
Oh, God, yeah, I love Earthworm Jim.
There was like a dog in Earthworm Jim called Petey. And every time
Yeah.
Petey got mad, he would turn into like a huge hulking monster.
Oof.
And so Pepe the Prawn would turn into that specific monster every time.
Oh,
he
not
got
like a
mad.
prawn equivalent, not like a hulked
No.
out tiger prawn.
No, hulked out dog.
Bulldog. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it was a weird dream.
Do you
Dreams are
believe in
weird,
any
right?
kind of like Jungian dream analysis at all? Have you dug into that one?
I don't know. It sounds like you're into that sort of thing. So can you read that dream for me?
I would need a while to study, and I would need to ask you for many details, mostly about your childhood. But
I think I was also married to Jordan in the dream.
oh wow, okay, Jordan, as in the glamour model.
Yes.
Ah, interesting. Okay, why don't we revisit this as a bonus episode? Jamie's dreams. Once a week, we'll do one of your most memorable dreams, and I'll be your Jungian analyst.
I had a dream the other night. Sorry that I know you're trying to get off this, but I had a dream the other night that I had to do a presentation at work for like the entire staff of the university,
Right.
and I had not prepped for it at all. And there was a 5-minute break before the presentations were due to start, and I was trying to write my presentation in the 5-minute break before they were due to start.
Project Zeus style.
Yeah, isn't that classic anxiety work nightmare?
Oh yeah, but it goes way deeper if you want to get Jungian on it. We could get seriously sexy on this.
Okay, it Is Jungian similar to like Freud, where everything's just about wanting to bang your mum or whatever?
No, that's almost exclusively Freud. But there is, there is some bleed in the dream analysis. There's a lot of grind, but there's also some bleed. But again, we'll talk that could be paid content, Jamie. We're not giving people your psychoanalysis for free. Don't be insane.
It's true. Does it count as therapy? Because Kaz has been telling me that I need to get therapy for our entire relationship.
Yeah, A, it does for sure. And B, join the club, bud. Get on the therapy boat.
She thinks just because if someone mentions Watership Down, I start crying, I need therapy. I'm actually welling up just because I said Watership Down. What the?
I think that's less the reason that you need therapy. That's probably closer to the fact that you're a human with emotions, and that's a good thing.
Thank you, Sam. Speaking of emotions, we're going to talk about Jack Shoulder's 1987 science fiction horror
address
thriller.
it early. His name's Jack Shoulder, which is what I had when my 14th summer. I had a real case of Jack Shoulder at the end of the fucking summer holidays. Come on, buddy. Jack Shoulder. Change your name.
To what?
Not fucking...
Jack Wrist.
Not the affliction a teenage boy has when he goes at it too hard for one white hot summer. Or you know what, Jack Shoulder could be a good thing. It could be like one hench shoulder rather than an injured shoulder like I had.
Like Sean Astin in whatever M. Night Shyamalan movie that was.
Jack Shoulder's Revenge.
Is it Lady in the Water where he only works out one half of his body?
Actually, you're going to be astonished to learn again, Jamie, that I don't know what film you're talking about.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan film with Sean Astin. You love Sean Astin. Surely
I don't love Sean Astin. I love Goonies.
But he's in Goonies.
And he's the weakest link.
He's the main link. He's the daddy.
He's grown on me. I hated him as a kid in that movie, and he really grew on me as I got older. Don't know any of his work post Goonies, really, to be honest.
That's not true.
Isn't it?
He's in California Man or Encino Man.
True. I do love that film. That would go down like a fucking tall drink of lemonade right now. I would watch that film right now, for real.
I can
really enjoy
watch Encino Man almost any time.
Yeah.
Do you call it Encino Man or do you call it California Man?
It was California Man for me growing up, so I call it California Man. But I prefer Encino Man as a title because it's just like a little bit more niche. Just shows you have some California geography knowledge.
I think Encino Man is a better title.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I understand why California Man was a thing. Obviously, like, what the fuck is Encino to anyone who doesn't live in California?
Yeah.
You know, it's like fucking like what Wrexham used to be.
Yeah.
Wrexham Man.
Wrexham Man would be boring.
Anyway, back to Jack Shoulder.
Yes, he directed the film that we're going to talk about tonight, which is The Hidden.
Yep.
Starring Kyle MacLachlan.
Mm-hmm. Your boy.
You do this thing, right? And I do it to Kaz. Anytime someone from a show that she likes comes on the telly, I'm like, oh, it's your mate.
Yeah, you love Kyle MacLachlan.
I do like Kyle MacLachlan. We've been watching Fallout, the TV program based on the popular Bethesda computer game.
Is he in that, is he?
He is in that.
Interesting. Is he good?
Yeah, he is good. I can't tell you too much because that would be spoily.
Yeah, don't tell me anything.
But it's a good show, and he's in it. And so is Ben Linus from Lost.
He's in Fallout.
He is in Fallout, yeah.
Right.
And he showed up on the screen, and Kaz said, oh, look, it's your mate, to try and razz me. And I was like, it's your mate. And she was like, why is he my mate? And I was like, because you're a fucking other.
Is she one of the others?
Yeah.
Who are you in Lost? If you're either closely relating to or being a character in Lost, who are you?
I mean, we all know.
Do we?
Yeah.
Jack.
Obviously, I'm Hurley.
You're not Hurley.
Externally and to everyone else, I'm Hurley. Internally, I'm Sawyer.
Sawyer's fucking spicy, right? I remember thinking, wow, that's a fucking hot guy.
Sawyer is a specimen of a man.
Yeah.
Smelling like fucking Davidoff cool water.
Oh, baby. Fuck yeah. The whole time, even after he's run out of Davidoff, still smells like it.
We've got a bit homoerotic, Sam.
And that's fine. Kyle MacLachlan.
Oh yeah, he's in He's in the hidden.
Back to this movie. Not exactly a feast for the eyes in the, red hot dudes department, but sure.
I don't know. He was kind of sexy in Twin Peaks, right?
I'm not, all I was saying is the movie is not a feast for the eyes, but if we're going to go hard on McLaughlin, he's not my type.
Really?
Too clean cut. He's got too much going on in the, like, lippy, chinny area. Everything's a bit close together for me. Hair's always kind of nothingy. He's not I love his performance in Twin Peaks, don't get me wrong. I quite like his character, but doesn't pump my plums.
If he, an adult FBI agent, is good enough for the teenager Audrey Horne, then who am I to argue?
Yep, these are very good points. I'm sure David Lynch would talk you through that in detail.
I'm sure he would.
He's in this film, and this film was made in 1987. How old were you?
2.
Me too. So there he is. We're 2. He's what, 20 fucking something? And he's an FBI agent. So not exactly a leap for him in his career.
No, obviously this is pre Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
They were saplings back then.
Yep, we striplings. So what do you know about this movie? When did you see it? What did you think? Why has it got 7 out of 10 on IMDb? Hit us.
I was late teens. I loved it, and because it's great.
Right, that makes sense. Thanks for listening to Final Transmission. We'll be back next week with Jamie's Dream, a new spin-off podcast where we systematically dismantle Jamie's sanity.
So I got the impression from text that you didn't like this. Now, don't go into any detail yet, because we want to do a quick synopsis.
Okay.
And then maybe we'll go for a break, because we've already been waffling for 15 minutes at this point.
We're talking a fucking absolute buttload of nothing here.
Yeah. We did, 20 minutes on how sexy Sawyer from Lost is?
Felt like an hour. I enjoyed every second.
Yeah. And I've got Jack Shoulder. So I'll do a synopsis. How about that, Sam? And
Yeah,
then we'll take
please.
a break.
Please do.
And then we'll just crack on.
This should be easy. Go on.
So Tom Beck is a hard-bitten LA detective who is paired up with a sort of nebbish, very young FBI agent played by
What does
Carl
nebbish
McLachlan.
mean?
Sort of like kind of nerdy, but like not really, sort of neurotic, but in a not really neurotic kind of way.
Like a boring kind of neurotic.
Yeah, yeah.
I like nebbish. I like that. I'm going to use it. Jack Nebbish. Carry on.
Did you ever watch, this is another aside, but did you ever watch the TV series Automan?
No.
So Automan was like, they tried to make a TV series out of Tron, and it's about a cop who's got like a computer buddy sidekick.
Ooh.
It's sort of like Knight Rider, except it's a man in a computer suit, and he's got a little thing called Pixel.
Man Rider, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his name, like the neurotic sort of lead cop, his name was like Walter Nebbish or something.
Ah.
It was like really, really on the nose. Great show.
Clever.
Fucking love it. Would recommend it. Nothing to do with this synopsis.
Big shout out.
Yeah. So Detective Tom Beck and FBI agent Lloyd Gallagher, played by Kyle MacLachlan, are on the trail of a man who is on a crime rampage, stealing Ferraris, listening to metal, robbing banks, and then he dies and someone else starts doing the exact same thing. But weirdly, he was in the hospital bed next to him as he died. What's going on?
What could it be?
What could it possibly be?
Well, we find out really early what it is, right?
We do. And this movie is a sci-fi horror thriller. So take from that what you will.
Why don't we take a break and we'll tell everyone when we get back exactly what's happening here.
All right. Sounds good.
Come on, man. Does that thing even work? No. There's nothing out there. It's just dead air.
Red Scare Industries, you know what they say, Jamie? Pump fist, not gas.
Why do they say that?
I think that was Toby's first tagline for the label. Don't judge them on that alone. Great record label coming at you out of Chicago, Illinois. Superb records, great roster, doing good things in the world. Do you like them, Jamie?
I love them. They're some of my favorite records ever. Masked Intruder, Sincere Engineer, Copyrights, Lawrence Arms, Sam Russo. Great records, great people, Great times. Great. Just great.
Great. Listen, if you want some great, get your ass over to redscare.net now. Oh, I'm back. Are you back?
Yeah, it was aliens, Sam. They're aliens.
Yeah, it was aliens. Big, kind of creepy looking, kind of hairy anti-aliens climbing out your mouth and climbing in another mouth.
Yeah. I love the idea that aliens just love Ferraris.
That tickled my pickle also. The just absurdity of aliens loving Ferraris was kind of too much for me to bear, to be honest, when I watched this.
Yeah. I guess they don't like Ferraris. They just like sports cars because...
No, he specifically says they like Ferraris.
He does, but we're well in spoilers now, right? Kyle MacLachlan's character, Lloyd Gallagher, also an alien. He drives a Porsche.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course he does. Yeah. I think that's a fucking script oversight. I don't think that's... They overtly say these aliens love Ferraris. So here we are. We're inhabiting this universe where Kyle MacLachlan is an alien hunting.
Yeah.
A homicidal, crime-spreeing music lover who also loves Ferraris. How does this happen? Where do we start with this film?
I want to know, Sam. Put me out my misery. Did you like it or not?
I don't know. Do you know what? I thought there were parts of it where I was like, fuck yeah, this is an absolute romp. What a ripper. Then there's a few flops and a few moments that make me question whether I like it or not. And those are the bits I got a bit hung up on. And then I watched next week's movie and I was like, give me The Hidden all week long. I love this shit. Spoilers.
That's so insane to me that you didn't like. I mean, we'll talk about it next week. But...
Fucking right, we will. I'm gonna brew up for that one. The Hidden to me feels like. I tell you what, if the people at Rockstar Games did not watch The Hidden before they made GTA, then I don't know what way around history is occurring, and maybe time is unspooling in an unorthodox way for me.
Well, I'm pretty sure time is a flat circle, Sam.
Well, so we're told, or so we were once told. But this criminal rampage part of this movie that's real silly goose alien fun times, yeah, top tier. Then when it tries to have a plot, I'm not 100% won over by it. I'm not saying you have to work hard to win me over, but it's loose as fuck. There's not that much at stake, really. And I struggled a bit with the
fate of the planet is at stake, Sam.
Prove it. Like, how? Like, tell me more about how. So,
well, can you talk me through the bits where you were like, okay, this is losing me?
Yeah. Kind of when Kyle MacLachlan tries to do anything. Like, I like him as an actor, but his role in this, he feels a bit useless. He's trying to catch an alien, right?
Yeah.
But he's
Takes
not.
an alien to catch an alien.
So logic would dictate, yeah, but he's not really doing it. He's just sort of showing up where the alien is and being there and then leaving. And there's a bit of a cat and mouse thing going on, but it doesn't really hit because the stakes of this criminal rampage are a bit limited. Like, what he's stealing a Pepsi and he's driving a car fast. Like,
he takes over the president or the future president.
Yeah, then it escalates, but by then I was a little bit checked out on the whole dynamic. The characters weren't exactly holding me by that point. So I tried to just watch it for eye candy because it did look really nice in the beginning. It had that gritty feel to it and it felt very B-movie and like you were catching it late on a fucking Friday night or something. And that felt great. But there was just a slight disconcerting lack of substance that just sort of put me a little bit on the back foot on first watch. I think I would maybe enjoy it more on second watch. There also wasn't really enough of anything I really liked in the movie to keep me. We only see the alien once.
Yeah, so I definitely remembered more Alien.
Yeah, it's a drag. You see it once and it's within the first 5 minutes. So you're hanging on for more Alien and they kind of let you down. It's a parasite, which I love alien parasites. I like how the alien parasite looks. I like how it moves. It doesn't make any sense what it's doing. Like, why does this alien parasite love stealing tapes and listening to metal and driving Ferraris? It's total gibberish.
What do you like to do, Sam?
All of those things.
Like, literally, like, maybe you're an alien parasite.
I hope so.
Like, we don't know that all alien parasites love fucking Concrete Blonde and Robin Banks. All we know is that this one does. They all like sports cars, obviously, but like...
This alien parasite isn't really staying on point or sticking to the plan, if we're honest. If
Yeah.
the plan is what? To take over Earth by, parasiting up some politicians. They do a whole bunch of just driving through plate glass sheets and
I love that we get the plate glass
yeah,
window crossing the road thing earnestly. I
for sure.
love that we get that here.
Yeah. First half an hour of this movie, I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was bad. It just sort of slipped a little bit.
So this movie's written by Jim Koof, who is basically like buddy cop action thriller like royalty at this point.
The Koof.
He wrote Stakeout, he wrote Rush Hour, he wrote National Treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is his bread and butter. Like, Stakeout obviously is one of the early real standouts in this genre. Obviously, there's loads of stuff in this genre.
Sure.
He also wrote The Buggans, which my fellow shit horror film lovers will enjoy. And
Exec produce on Con Air. That's credibility.
yeah, like he's a real name. I think like he's not necessarily a household name. He's not Shane Black for example, but
Sure.
like his pedigree in like buddy cop stuff. And also this hits for me every main touch point of like an 80s buddy cop movie.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. There's the awkward dinner scene at the partner's house.
True.
Is there a single 80s buddy cop thriller that doesn't have an extended strip club sequence?
No, again, great point. It's the Jim
Like-
Koof playbook.
Yeah, I love that. But, most of those don't end with an alien parasite taking over the stripper
True.
and then her getting shot 25 times and falling off a building.
Yeah, that was good. The absolute essence of a buddy cop romp for me is the chemistry and the shared sense of urgency. And that was just not here for me, unfortunately. I don't know if it's because one of them's a fucking alien,
Yeah, well, that's the point, right? He's meant to be devoid of charisma.
Yeah, dripping in Riz, the man is not. And that's obviously the point. That's fine. That's what they were going for. I'm not saying that's a flaw. It just didn't spark me to care about what was going to happen to them, really, which is a drag because so much of this movie to love, blasting tunes, driving around, doing crimes. Yes. And then I got a bit off the rolling boil for a little while.
I think it's consistently good throughout. But I also think any film where there's that extended Ferrari dealership sequence, like any film with that in it, like you can't fault it.
Those guys were funny and they had more charisma than the main characters, which at the time I was just like, let's stay with these guys doing coke out the fucking boot of a little model Ferrari. That's funny. That was a little nugget of gold. Beyond that scene, the people that the parasite occupies don't have enough going for them either for me. Like, it picks the weirdest fucking people. Like, the stripper aside, who had some real on-screen presence, you could just kind of forget what was going on. The people that are inhabited by the parasite aren't doing much and aren't doing enough really to hold me. So yeah, a slightly slippery eel of a movie. I felt myself waxing and waning.
So the stripper, by the way, just so you know, she's in Babylon 5. She's like one of the leads. She's in loads of stuff. Like she's a big proper person.
Yeah, you could kind of tell she had some chops. I think she did a lot with a minor role, and that's always a bit of a...
I love the fucking schlubby half dead guy.
I like that he has gas. That's fun, I guess.
I like the unlikely host for the parasite.
I mean, I'm not saying I want it to be like some big hulking street dude. Like, I don't want it to go to Muscle Beach and take over the biggest guy. Well, actually, that would be pretty sick. I thought it would just be fun if it was... Yeah, okay, so I like the middle-of-the-road looking suit guy doing all these crimes. That is quite fun. He's in that like heavy metal shop stealing all the tapes and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of cool. But lean into it more, maybe. Like, go a bit more Michael Douglas in Falling Down or something. Like, I wanted a little bit more. More.
Yeah, no, I guess, but like I like it. I think it works. I wondered if like I was trying to think like what the genesis of the script was, and like obviously we know that Jim Coof likes to mess with these sort of mismatched partnerships
Yeah.
for detectives or whatever. And what's more mismatched than like an alien and a human?
Hmm.
And then I was sort of wondering if maybe they were thinking like when they're interviewing like the neighbors of murderers and stuff, and they're always like, oh, they're so quiet. It's like what happens to a person to make them go from like a quiet, normal person to a crime rampage, gnarly fucker?
An alien parasite.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was maybe like the genesis of the idea. Is like what makes good people go bad?
Yeah, it could be. And unlike Falling Down, it's not the pressures of the modern world, the city, the heat, the snapping point. It's quite literally a visitor from another universe.
Yeah, an Altarian or something.
Yeah, missed all that. The weapon is fucking piss weak. Like the little fucking random molded piece of aluminium. I wasn't into that.
I know what you mean, but I really like the scene where it's like, oh, narratively convenient that it doesn't work on human flesh. So
Yeah, let's demonstrate.
I thought that's really funny. I think this film has a sense of humor, and I think that is part of it. It's just that like, well, this movie would be over in 5 minutes if I could use this. So
Yeah, I like the demonstration. I thought that was quite fun. I don't think it was needed. At that point, I was like, I'm not going to ask any questions. There's no logic at play here. But they still showed me, which was nice. Do you know there's a sequel?
I did know there's a sequel. I've not seen it.
It has 3.1 on IMDb, which is astonishing. That's very low.
It's meant to be terrible. And like when you factor in the genre as well, that's like...
Yeah. The main character is played by Raphael Sbarge, and the character's name is McLaughlin. So that's obviously a callback.
I believe that like the plot follows Tom Beck, and the alien is still inside him.
Right.
Which is a big spoiler for this movie, but the main detective gets shot at the end.
Yeah.
And so in order to keep him alive or something, Kyle MacLachlan's alien goes inside him, and it's not as sexy as you want it to be.
And I don't think I actually understood that on first watch, so thanks for clarifying. I don't think I actually understood what happened at the end of this film, to be totally honest. Is that in any way unclear, or am I just being dumb?
So I think that the alien parasite or essence or whatever can survive inside a dead body.
Yeah.
So in order for the detective, who has now died, to keep being there for his daughter and his wife, he's taken over by the alien that's inside Kyle MacLachlan's character.
Right. Almost like, don't worry, for your family's sake, I'll have sex with your wife and raise your kids.
Exactly.
Rather than just have the natural closure of the fact that your husband and father is dead, I will crawl inside him and have sex with you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
we'd
Perfect ending.
all do it. We'd all do it, Sam. We'd all do that for our best friends.
Who is dead and doesn't give a fuck.
Look, Sam, if you died, I would pilot your corpse into any woman you so choose.
Weird how you attribute that decision to me, the dead one. I think it might end up being your choice, Jamie. It's actually in my will that you pilot my corpse, quote unquote. I think the legalese exactly is into any whomst thou shalt bequeath. I think that's what it says.
One for you, one for me. How about that?
Okay, yeah, one each. That sounds fair. That's not bad for a dead guy. It's more than most dead guys get. One each. Work your way up to Sawyer from Lost. For both of us. That's the big win. Is there a flamethrower in this movie?
Yes, there is. It's a Chekhov's flamethrower. They show it at the very beginning. He's like, hey, look at this flamethrower that we got from a guy on the street. Yeah. So obviously the flamethrower comes back at the end, and I love it. It's so shameless, just being like, hey, look at this flamethrower that I've got, that I'm standing here showing you this flamethrower. It's a real good flamethrower that I've got from a guy on the street. LA, huh? These gangs, they have flamethrowers now. And then, so obviously, Kyle MacLachlan gets to flamethrower a flamethrower later in the movie.
Gets to throw flame. I think one thing I will say this movie has going for it big time is the cover art variants are both, broad in scope and fantastic in visuals. There's a lot of really good artwork associated with this movie.
I feel like when you don't like a movie, your go-to compliment is the cover art was really well considered or whatever.
Well, listen, that's not going to be happening next week. I'll tell you that for free. It's not that I don't like this movie. It's that it just doesn't quite deliver the finish him that I really want in a movie like this. Because any Alien Parasite movie is basically good, in my opinion, because it's starting with a really fun concept, right? It's hard to fuck that up. It's not that it fails to deliver necessarily. It's just it does so in a slightly lukewarm way in really key areas. So I like to see a lot of parasite action. I like to see a lot of transfer of the parasite. I like to see the parasite maybe scurrying around looking for a host or some parasite POV. I want more investment in the characters. I want more tragedy when they die. I want a bit more hard-boiled cop stuff, more spicy banter, more, basically. And the movie just didn't quite reach the level that I was hoping for. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it does mean the cover art's good. So...
I think that the hard-bitten, jaded cop stuff is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I do completely agree that we don't get enough parasite action. And it's a real shame because like the bit that we do get is fucking great.
It's very good, especially the human part of the parasite, like the stretching of the mouth and the flesh looks totally unnatural, but it looks, great in context. Like it looks like something from The Stuff or, just a bendy, melty head and this gigantic ant-like parasite that's really angular and hairy. I thought that was incredibly cool.
Yeah, I really like the movement of like the tentacles or the tendrils or whatever they are as they like flail around, wrapping around the next victim's head or whatever.
Yeah.
And like we get to see those a few times and they're like
it does poke out of the guy's arm, doesn't it, at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
But I do agree that it's sort of criminally underutilized, especially in a film where that's the promise.
It's not fair to do it so early and then never again. That's not on. I expected... So what I was thinking was that because we saw it so early, I thought, okay, it's only going to get bigger, right? It's going to feed and it's going to grow, and then we're going to have a giant fucking flamethrower monster ant showdown. And for that not to happen either, again, I think whatever happens at the end of this movie, if it's not that, you feel a bit shortchanged.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that, but I think the movie stands enough without it. I think, obviously, I would have loved to have seen the end of Ticks on this movie.
Right.
But, like, I'm fine with what we got.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an argument to say that it's thoroughly entertaining and entertaining enough from start to finish to sustain you. It just, slight swing and a miss for me, inoffensively so.
I think the thing that was missing the most, Sam, and it's criminal that they didn't show this in the movie, is that we didn't get to see the dog driving a Ferrari.
Now that I would have paid good money for. Even if it went full silly goose and the dog just started like living like a human, I'd have been 100% in. Pop on some sunglasses, go to the strip club, get a lap dance. That would have been, that's the storyline we were all hoping for.
Yeah, I think it's called a lab dance when a dog gets it.
Lab dance. Fuck out of here. The dog dies, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the dog's dead. As soon as the parasite goes into the person,
of course.
they die.
I mean, no spoilers here, but how many fucking dead dog movies are we going to do this month, Jamie?
Yeah, that's...
Fucking hell.
At least we don't see the dead dog in this movie. We see the dog being piloted and therefore is still alive.
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe only humans die when the parasite goes into it. Maybe dogs are fine.
This is these are our dead dog days. Sorry, everyone.
The dead dog days are not over.
Yeah, it is what it is. Wait till we get to our salad days. That's gonna be a good time.
How many movies about salad are there?
Oh,
Fried
not
green
enough.
Tomatoes?
Not enough. Everyone who likes salad in movies always painted out to be a priss or some kind of fucking weirdo. For us salad lovers out there, we need some representation. I need a movie that shows the world that we're not all like that. So you can be a fucking great guy and love salad.
I think you've got Popeye.
Yeah, spinach. I guess canned processed spinach, though, I would have a thing or two to say about the nutritional value of canned processed spinach, Mr. Popeye.
What, are you going to say that to his face?
I'd say it to his face. If it was Robin Williams, I'd give him a big hug and just whisper it in his ear and offer to make him a salad.
Have some fresh spinach, Rob.
Yeah.
Call him Rob?
Would I call him Rob? No, I'd go with Mr. Williams to start with, and I would have my fucking heart hanging in the balance that he'd say, Mr. Williams is my father's name. You can call me Robin. Or something, you know?
That's not a terrible Robin Williams impression.
It was pretty bad. I wasn't ready.
It's weird because your arms are so hairy. It was like he's in the room with me.
Do you know what? My arms are deceptively hairy. It's just that every single hair is paper white, so nobody ever sees it. But if you catch me like creeping across a sunrise, you'll get this halo of hair all around my body that you never knew was there. It's gorgeous.
If I ever catch you creeping through a sunrise, I'll be dead before I've realised that it's that there's hair there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be no one witnessing that scene. But I mean, yeah, hairy arms on the guy. But you should see me.
Yeah.
It's a shame Robin Williams never got to play any kind of lycanthrope. Or did he? Did he ever play a werewolf? Or
I don't think he did. He was an alien at one point.
Sure was, a couple of times.
Yeah. Old Morky Moo.
The Morkster.
Nanu.
Yeah. So hairy as fuck, like the giant ant-like parasite. Also, the good thing about the parasite, he's not just hairy. He's got a lot going for him. He's a little bit... So what I love about occasionally rewatching The Thing, the John Carpenter Thing, is that you forget just how much is going on with that alien. Like, there's so many different things about it that are fucking gross. And when we see this parasite, it's the same. You're like, oh, hairy, black, shiny thing. And then it's like, oh, those translucent, ropey things as well. And then all the slithery bits and a long, like... thick truncated body. Like, it does a really good job of being gross in lots of ways, which I think is really important for a space parasite.
Yeah, I just like you say, I think there could have easily have been a lot more of it.
Yeah, imagine making that for the movie. You fully make that creature, you have it go from one guy's mouth to another guy's mouth, and then you're like, might as well bin it, mate, doesn't come back again. What? That's madness.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a Jaws thing and it just sort of looked shit. And so they were like, we have to show it once.
Yeah, but there's loads of examples of it looking shit in way better movies. Like, sometimes in Alien, the aliens don't look that great, but they're still fucking terrifying, and they work in the context. I think even a complete piece of crap in this movie, I'd rather see it than not, you know? I'd rather see someone, you know, randomly firing a shotgun into dark corners because there's a skittering black object in there, you know? That was needed and not delivered. Which, you know, I'm trying not to be a real downer on it, but that is fucking criminal. You really, really fucked it there, guys. That's such an oversight. But we've given a pass to many worse movies, so let's stay posy.
The look of it is cool, and I think the effects are really cool. I think like Rob Bottin would be stoked to have made that.
Yeah.
But he would not be stoked that they only show it 1.6 times. Yeah.
I also like... the sense of place in this kind of had me on the fence a little bit, because I love any kind of California cop drama. I like anything that's set in this time period in a red hot terracotta California street environment. I love that shit. And it just didn't quite go deep enough for me to really invest in it, but it did feel like it was really there. I didn't feel like, oh, they're trying to pass it off as California, they're shooting it somewhere else or whatever. It did feel real to where they were saying it was taking place, which is, you know, but for budgetary reasons, I guess, maybe not the case, but still, I enjoyed that.
Well, I guess, like, there's all this baggage of, like, 80s California, 80s LA, which is around, like, street gangs and, like, Latino gangs and... We don't see any punks in this, which is a real shame.
It is a shame, and some of the music is really close to being punk, and that's what made... Cause my favorite thing to do on GTA 5 is put Channel X on and listen to Keith Morris talk while, like, The Adolescence plays, and just drive around mowing down pedestrians. And that's what the start of this movie was really close to being. So that's where I was all in, you know? It has a punk... It has a feeling to it that we're going to get some punk gangs, or we're going to get a punk antagonist of some kind, or there's going to be a tough gang of... at least punk-looking street LA kids. But again, we miss out on those.
Yeah, like that would be really cool just to have, even when he's like the schlubby guy in the middle. Yeah, like have him face off against some, like, do you know well, obviously you do the bit in Jason Takes Manhattan when it's like the punks and he just kicks the bin as he's walking past them. Like I would have accepted that.
Yeah. Yeah. Kick the bin. Just have them as part of the scenery, part of the time. It's a time
Yeah.
capsule thing, isn't it? They existed in LA in this time, and they were on the streets, and they might not have been a huge problem for the cops, but they were part of the visual identity of the city. And as a filmmaker, you're sort of missing a trick not including some of that color, I think.
I mean, I love punks in movies.
Yeah, me too.
Especially when they're stupid and terrible, like Return of the Living Dead or like
Yeah.
Class of Nukem High or whatever, where they're just like take them beyond normal to
Yeah.
the most stupid degree. And
I
would
like
have
that
liked to
too
have
because
seen
it's
some
normally
here.
quite self-aware, isn't it? It's not
Yeah.
like, wow, we don't understand punks at all. It's more like we understand both the culture, we understand the hideous parody version that's trotted out in the mainstream, and we actually want to fucking amplify that because that's funny as shit, and that's what people are going to get a kick out of. It's probably not much interesting about, real punks of
No,
this
like
time
we've all
period.
seen Suburbia or whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like, and that's about as real as a punk movie you're ever gonna get.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, two interesting points here. One, I tell you what really fucks this movie up for me is Lethal Weapon is made the same year. And
Yeah.
as far as like LA cop movies go, Lethal Weapon rewrote the fucking rule book with what it showed of LA across 3, arguably 4 movies. And
I can't remember whether the first Lethal Weapon has a lengthy strip club scene, but I feel like it does.
it's actually a really good point to make. I think it does, yeah, because they're tracking down the girl who was involved in adult movies and strip clubs and stuff. I can't picture it in my mind because I'm not a misogynist, Jamie, but I'm sure if I thought hard enough, I could pull the image up.
You're not a misogynist because you can't picture a strip club in a movie that you like.
Yeah.
I can name 5 million other reasons why you are a misogynist.
And I would be guilty of all of them. Okay, I'm going to look at the Parent's Guide to Sex and Nudity for Lethal Weapon to see. One fairly explicit and hot reference is made to the possibility that Dixie and Amanda had hot, hard sex before the murders. Somewhat crude. I didn't know this section existed on IMDb. This is a
you not?
podcast in and of itself. This is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Wow. All right, we'll be revisiting that. Not going to go through it now. We might have talked about this before, but one thing about Lethal Weapon 1 that sucks is the insane degrees of homophobia. Martin Riggs is such like a madman homophobe in that movie.
Yeah, Shane Black wrote Lethal Weapon, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, Shane Black just loves to drop the F slur.
Yeah, he did write it with a guy called Jeffrey Boehm. Don't know anything about him. But Riggs is such a homophobe. He's upset by lesbians. Like, that's... Anyway.
That's the
less said
opposite
about that,
of
the better.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Complete madness. So yeah, Lethal Weapon comes out the same year. Yeah, tricky to compete with, that specific depiction of LA across the franchise of those movies. I feel like it's pretty fun. The other thing, I recently rewatched Repo Man, thinking of you.
Yes.
And yeah, it's great. I don't know why I brought it up. I think because punks, but it's got a similar bleakness to it
Very
as
LA.
this movie has. Yeah, very LA. Obviously a totally different vibe and a totally different deal, but
When you think of the LA River, do you think of Terminator 2 or do you think of Repo Man?
Terminator 2, unfortunately. If you give me the choice of the two, it's T2.
It's like if you're watching, like, I don't know, a TV show that's shot or set in LA and you see the river, you're like, oh, that's the river from
Yeah, I mean,
Terminator 2.
I tend to think of a lot of famous LA River skate photos and an old skate video, but that scene in T2 is fucking...
I guess it's also in Greece as well, isn't it? They do the Race Over Pinks scene there too. But I feel like it's, for me, it's more iconically Terminator 2 or Repo Man.
Yeah, bank skating, Repo Man, T2. For me, a big one would be Destroyer. One of my favorite movies of all time, has a great LA River scene. GTA 5. I know that's... Sorry, but I love fucking driving those ditches.
Yeah, the Kiss album Destroyer, that has a reference to the LA River on it. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. No.
It's only about 15-year-old girls.
You ever notice there's only one good song on every Kiss album?
That's
pretty much.
bullshit. Love Gun
Apart
is
from Alive
wall-to-wall
too.
bangers.
Love Gun is as much as I hate to admit that I love a Kiss song, Love Gun might be one of my favorite songs of all time.
Love Gun's amazing, but every song on that record is amazing, except for maybe I can't really bring myself to listen to Christine 16 for various reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's also a song on there called Plasticaster, which is about like a very specific groupie that would make plaster molds of all of the rock star dicks that she would
Enjoy.
enjoy is the
Visit.
word. Visit, have piloted into her.
I once played a terrible show where
I can believe it.
I know, and I was fucking hammered, and I would not shut up about Love Gun. I played part of a cover of it. I kept saying between songs, "Get it? It's about his dick," and I would not shut the fuck up about Love Gun. I don't know what was wrong with me, but it sticks out in my mind as one of the worst shows of my life.
Was that Halloween last year?
No, I think it was. I can't remember where it was. It was on that run of shows I did with. I won't say who it was with because it'll put them to shame. It might have been in Manchester. If it wasn't, it was in the north of England. It could have been in Stafford. I think I carried the joke on for a few shows. I had a few drinks, man. What are you going to do? Love Gun is just a banger. I'll do it. I'll cover it wherever I want. Fuck you.
Yeah, but that whole record's full. It's full of bangers, apart from the cover of "And Then She Kissed Me" at the end, which is fucking awful.
Is it on Destroyer?
No, it's on Love Gun. It's a record.
Oh, of course, the album Love Gun. No, the album Love Gun is not good, Jamie. What?
Yeah, it is. It's my favorite Kiss record.
Which isn't really saying much.
But like I say, it does have Christine 16 on it, which is a very problematic song. It's so weird how in the 80s or even the 70s when this came out, it was just okay to be like, "Hey, you're underage and I want to fuck you."
Well, 16
singing my
was
little...
pretty progressive at that point. You know, a lot of other rock stars were doing way worse things to way younger people. David fucking Bowie. You know, I feel like in defense of Christine 16, the problem we've got here as well is if you think about it, like this was happening until very recently. Kings of Leon have a song that goes, "Oh, she's only 17," and it's just clearly lusty. I mean, that's not good. That's in the 2000 teens.
Have you heard the song All in the Name of" by Motley Crue?
I fucking hate Motley Crue. No, I haven't heard that song.
She's only 15. She's the reason that I can't sleep. You say illegal. I say legal's never been my scene.
Fucking heck. That's why Motley Crue sucks. Apart from everything else, like all of the things they did and said.
Did you clock Danny Trejo in this movie?
I did. Again, like, what is this movie doing? You've got him on the cast. You've paid for him. He's there. Use him.
He's nobody at this point, though, right? He's like...
No, but you can see the fucking... You can look at him. He's begging to be used more. Like, at this point, Danny looks amazing. He costs nothing.
Yeah.
He's already there. Have him do something. Don't just shoot him in a cell.
Where he's like, "Hey, dude, what kind of hippie are you?" I shouldn't do that accent.
That was pretty fucking good. That's better than my Robin Williams.
But yeah, "Hey, dude, what kind of hippie are you?" or something.
Yeah, it's a good enough line, but like, just have him in it more. Have him do more stuff. I feel like the movie, maybe this is disparaging. I don't know if I should lean hard into this opinion, but this movie feels shy in its execution.
Yeah, no, I think it doesn't have the confidence, I think, to do some of those big swings. I mean, there are some big swings in here, but they are buddy cop action movie big swings. Like the cocaine car dealership, "Give me the keys, I'll shoot you anyway."
Yeah, good fun.
That feels like, I mean, that's loads of fun, but that feels like it's a transplant from a Lethal Weapon type movie.
That could absolutely be a deleted scene from Lethal Weapon, absolutely.
Yeah. And like it doesn't have the courage to sort of really see the sci-fi horror stuff through.
Sure.
And like I wonder if there's like if we're existing in some sort of cut here, if there's like an uncut version somewhere.
It could very well be.
It just doesn't really strike me as a cut movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way. There's nothing jarring about, there's nothing like missing or anything like that. I mean, Jack Shoulder doesn't sound like the kind of guy who would let this movie come out heavily edited. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So Jack Shoulder is also a pretty good name. He directed, I think, is it Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, the gay one.
Well, that's quite good.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Wait, why'd you say the gay one?
Because it's really fucking gay.
What, like Freddy's gay?
Yeah.
Freddy's gay in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Absolutely. You need to go away and do some reading on this, because Freddy is the whole plot of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is that Freddy is desperately trying to get inside this teenage boy who is very clearly gay.
Wait, so Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's back and he's gay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Gay Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe I'm saying it was good when maybe I haven't seen it in a really long time and I've forgotten everything that happened.
Have you watched Elm Street Memories? What's it called? Never Sleep Again?
No, I'm not into it enough.
Fair enough. But you watched all 15 hours of Crystal Lake Memories, right?
Yeah, I watched Crystal Lake Memories 3 times, I believe.
That's insane.
It is insane because it's not that insightful. It's interesting and it's full of tidbits. But I also have the book. The book, I believe, is just as good, maybe better. There's nothing really that could make Freddy better for me apart from him being gay.
Yeah, no, I think him being gay is pretty cool.
Count me in.
It's sad that they don't follow it through. He also directed Wishmaster 2.
Yeah, haven't seen.
I love me some Wishmaster.
I like Wishmaster Uno. I just haven't seen 2. Do it.
The same. It's the same movie again.
Still wishing, still the master.
Yeah.
Jack Shoulder. Holy fuck. I just can't get over it. I'm sorry.
He directed a pretty good episode of Tales from the Crypt.
He didn't do, I mean, he did a lot, but he didn't do an insane amount, right? We're not talking about like prolific auteur shit here.
Yeah, no, he didn't do loads of stuff.
He did something that looks like something I would watch called Generation X, a TV movie from 1996. The new teenage students at a school for mutants, brackets, normal-looking humans with fantastic powers, tried to stop an evil scientist from controlling the world's dreams.
Yeah, it's the X-Men. Sam.
Yeah, listen, I'm struggling here. I'm going to go ahead and just say, fuck Jack Shoulder. He hasn't done anything good, and this movie isn't great. So I'm sorry, bud. Your name sucks. It made me laugh, but next.
That Generation X movie rips, but it is based on like the Rob Liefeld super 90s X-Men spin-off comics.
Are you saying based on, or are you saying rips off?
No, based on.
It is based on. Okay.
It's a Marvel movie, yeah.
Right, nice.
It's got Matt Frewer in it as like the weather guy, right?
Matt Frewer.
Yeah, you love Matt Frewer.
Do I love Matt Frewer?
Yeah, you do.
There's a piece of IMDb trivia that says, shares many similarities with The Borrower about this movie. Aliens punish one of their own by sending him to Earth. The alien is very violent, and when the body he occupies is damaged, he is forced to find another. It does sound a lot like this movie.
Yeah, there was a bunch of movies around this time that was like, how do we make aliens be on Earth? So there was a movie called like Abraxas, which is a pretty similar vibe, which is like intergalactic police come to Earth. Critters does a very similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's no body shifting element in that. And like also, we're doing Terminator, we're doing Body Snatchers, we're doing like a bunch of different movies. We're doing The Thing. Did you ever see the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington?
Jog my memory.
There's like a demonic serial killer who is passed through touch, and the reason that you know it's him is because he sings that one fucking Rolling Stones song.
Oh, good grief. This sounds so Stephen King, it hurts. No, I don't think I've seen this.
Yeah, he keeps singing, time is on my side.
No, I've seen the cover of this fucking endlessly in every like secondhand DVD shop ever. You know, like the Music Magpie shops and all that. Like, it was everywhere, and I never touched it because it was so much there.
It's good.
It's got John Goodman in it.
It's got John Greatman in it.
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie. It's
Gandolfini.
It's just silly. Elias Koteas, Big fan ever since he was Casey Jones in the 90s Turtles.
Yeah, he's a good egg. Good
He's a great
voice.
egg.
Great voice.
I feel like you're done talking about the Hidden. So why don't we take a break and we'll come back and wrap up?
I forgot the name of this movie 50 times, by the way. It's a good enough name. It just didn't stick. I get it. It's the parasite is hidden.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a better name, right? Hidden in plain sight. Hidden
Alien.
Yeah, Alien Parasite would have been a better title.
Alien Parasite would be weirdly would be a better title than The Hidden. Alien Parasite. If you, the listener, are a keen enough creative that you might be able to come up with a better alternative title to The Hidden than Alien Parasite, please comment.
I'll put a post up on our social media. Let's say Instagram. So if you follow us over there at FT Horror Show, and just drop your better title in the comments.
Yeah, do that. And while you're doing it, tell your friends about the podcast. Send them something. Be like, haha, listen to this, and send them a bit. Or just tell them it's good.
Yeah. Be like, haha, they talked about wank injuries for
Haha, they talked
45 minutes.
Everything but the film they were supposed to be talking about for an hour.
Haha, they talked about that song that you love by Motley Crue. Send that to your mate, and then...
Yeah. Haha, they didn't talk about Demonica by the Dwarves at all.
Haha.
Haha.
Yeah, and you can also follow us on Twitter, where we don't post very often, but it'd be
But when
nice
we
if you
do.
followed us anyway.
Yeah, when we do post, oh boy.
And also on TikTok, where I mostly share old trailers from the VHS era, from my VHS collection.
Hell yeah.
And also, just like review this podcast, give us 5 stars, make sure you're subscribing on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on.
Do the greasy work.
Yeah. And be a pal.
Be a chum.
Just be a mate.
Be a bud.
Just be a good one.
Be an hombre.
Yeah. Be a bro him.
Be a bro him.
Be a bro him.
We'll be right back.
Will you give it up, man? Nobody's out there. We're alone. Oh no, there's somebody out there. I'm picking up all this crosstalk.
Oh, okay, I'm back. Are you here?
Yeah, Sam.
You with me?
So I'm going to go ahead and do my sum up thoughts because I'm pretty sure yours are going to be, this was fine, 4 out of 10. But
God damn it, now I have to think of something clever to say.
I think this, like we said, it doesn't have necessarily the courage to carry through some of that early promise. But I think in terms of like those sort of late 70s, like buddy cop type movies, like, I don't know, Freebie and the Bean or like Busting or whatever, I think this is a pretty worthy successor to the sort of the quite lazy, not lazy, the quite sort of laid back approach that they had. And then you throw some sci-fi on top of it, you throw some vague horror in there. We never really get into actual horror territory. Like I say, I did remember there being loads more of that. I guess I just had like internalized the coolness of that one scene and sort of let it permeate the entire movie in my memory. But like, I do think that is cool. I think there are enough cool and fun bits to keep me going through. I think Kyle MacLachlan's performance is good. I think he gives like dispassionate alien like really well.
Yeah.
That obviously is the reason why he's so good in Twin Peaks. Obviously, he's not an alien in Twin Peaks, although I haven't seen Twin Peaks: The Return. So
spoilers.
The other guy who is basically, what if Chris Sarandon was Han Solo? He's kind of terrible, but in a way that I like.
Mm-hmm.
All the other cops are so stupid and dumb. In my notes, I was like, oh, it's really handy that they keep the guns in evidence not loaded, but it's stupid that they keep the ammo next to them.
Yeah.
The flamethrower stuff is obviously, it's like, hey, I've got a thing that's going to come back later in the movie. Do you want to see it? Which, you know, I love. I love a really heavily telegraphed Chekhov's anything.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's loads of fun. I think this movie has a real good sense of humor, and I think it's never really boring. And I think there are enough like really high points to make it a recommend for me. So I would give it 6 out of 9 Ferraris.
Oof, that's a lot of Ferraris.
Yeah.
I'm with you on it never. Well, I'm with you on it almost never being boring. I think it's. So for me, where this movie sits is if you're hungover and for some reason it's late at night on one of those hungover nights and you can't sleep still because you're not so fucked you can't move, but you're restless and antsy and a bit fucking fried. This is probably a good movie to stick on because it's not going to make you bust a gut laughing to the point where you despair that you wasted so much precious life drinking that you cry. And it's not going to drive you to a place of, ecstatic delirium because it's so beautiful. It's just going to keep you just about entertained enough to pass the evening without feeling like you've completely wasted your time and without making you have ridiculously high expectations because of how terrible you feel. I think it's probably a good late night hangover movie. I would agree it's pretty stimulating throughout. There's quite a lot happening in terms of action that keeps you right there. Some definite strong attempts at humor and some visuals that will keep you hanging in there. I'm going to give it 3.5 bumps of trunk cocaine out of 12.
Wow, that's low.
It's pretty low. It's pretty low. Big bumps. Key bumps. Big old LA Venice Beach door key bumps. But yeah, it didn't do it for me, really.
They didn't do keys. He had a little spoon.
Yeah, he had a little Coke spoon. Very cute.
Well, I'm sorry that you didn't like it. If you disagree with Sam and you have some opinions, feel free to get in touch and tell us those opinions.
You tell me to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, especially if you're telling me that Sam is wrong and that I'm right.
3.5 may have been a little low. I mean, it's not
definitely low.
Yeah, but it's not good enough to warrant more. It's too milquetoast. And if there's one thing I dislike about a movie, it's fucking rank cowardice. So sorry, bud. I'd rather you shot your shot and failed, Blair Witch Project 2 Book of Shadows. I'd rather you tried hard and fucked up. It didn't feel like you tried hard.
It is bonkers to me that you would rate this lower than Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows.
I don't know if I did, first of all. The Zapruder cut of Blair Witch 2 is the peak. What was the guy's name? It's not Zapruder.
It's Berlinger. Zapruder is the guy that filmed the JFK footage.
Released the Zapruder cut of Blair Witch 2. Yeah, no, I do you know what? If you said to me, you have to watch one of these movies tonight, you're hungover to shit, what are you going to watch? I'd probably pick Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows.
That's insane.
It's not better. Maybe I have more. No, I don't have more respect for it. They both suck. I don't know. This at least has a fucking cool alien in it for 15 seconds.
Any movie with the car dealership scene in it, any movie with the stripper being shot 500 times and then falling off a roof.
Yeah, but
nothing gives me more joy than a man dispassionately shooting people that he didn't even need to shoot. He already had the Ferrari keys.
I like that too, but it's the jarring attempt at marrying the buddy cop movie with the sci-fi horror that doesn't work because it doesn't give me enough of either to hang my hat on. And that is a dismal failure in terms of making a movie that professes to make that a seamless bond. This is in no way disrespectful 3.5 because
it feels pretty disrespectful.
I'm sure it does to you, but it's not an offensively bad movie. It's just fucking milquetoast, and that is a crime worse than making something ambitious and failing.
I think the idea of something being milquetoast and therefore you score it lower than 6 out of 12 is nonsense, frankly.
No, I need to defend this position. I think if something's at least wildly imaginative but woefully written or beautifully shot but fucking dismally dull, there's at least like enough in one of those columns to tip it into being admirable. For me, this is just a bit too beige.
I don't understand how a film about an alien that loves metal and Ferraris and driving
for 5
around.
minutes. It loves metal and Ferraris for 5 minutes, and I was in love for that 5 minutes. And then the rest is, greige.
Well,
I don't understand like Kyle MacLachlan doesn't seem drunk in that scene where his buddy cop is like, as a buddy, don't drink, or whatever he says. Like, he just looks fucking dumb. Like, it just doesn't work, doesn't land.
We don't see the rest of that evening, though, right? and we know that he's crazy hungover, and he doesn't know how to use Alka-Seltzer, and that's hilarious, right? He doesn't know how to use it. He takes a bite of the Alka-Seltzer, and then he's like, "Oh no, you got to drop it in your water, dickhead." And so he gets the aspirin later, and then he drops him in the water. It's comedy gold, Sam.
It's not done well enough to be comedy gold. Sorry. Yes, on paper, you saying that is like, I gotta watch this movie because that's exactly my kind of dumb, lame, tiny little joke humor that I like.
I think it is done well because, like, we see him drop the aspirin in the water, and we think, haha, that's already funny. But then we come back to it, and he's like trying to tap them out of the bottom of the glass.
Yeah.
Like that's the absolute wonderful payoff of that terrible gag.
Huge payoff. It's like a 20-minute gag. Yeah. No, it's not good. It's unfortunately, I'm sorry, it's just not good.
You're
Fine.
You're wrong, but I still love you, Sam.
I love you back, and this movie is not worth watching. I think if you're in the right place, you'll enjoy it. Does that make sense?
I thought you were saying not, like, emphasizing this movie is not worth watching.
No, it's not a double not. It's like a single not twice. It's
okay. It's not a double not, it's a double negative.
Yeah, it's not worth like going way out of your way and setting up a really great evening where you make fucking awesome popcorn, you get the beers in, you get people over that you want to watch a Silly Goose Fun Time movie with. But it is worth keeping on if you come across it late night when you're not feeling great.
Does anyone ever come across a movie late night anymore?
I do in hotels. Like, I couldn't go to sleep recently in a hotel in Manchester, and I watched nearly the whole of Assault on Precinct 13 because I found it on TV.
Assault on Precinct 13 is a film that works better when I play it in my brain.
Yeah. I think this movie might be one of those too, you know? Because, like, when you're recounting things that happened in this movie, it sounds way better than it was. So, like, maybe if I just watch it in my mind, like in Peep Show, where they go to that horrible play or the opera or something, and Mark says, "In my head, I'm watching Heat." And they just both watch Heat in their heads for the duration of the play.
Yeah. I watched Heat quite recently.
I think Heat sucks. I'm sorry.
What is wrong with you?
Fucking
Why are you
rubbish,
allowed
dude.
to have a podcast where you talk about films? When
I'm
you've
not.
got
That's
these
why I was
opinions?
astonished when you asked me and then let me. Heat's fucking boring, dude. Is who's in Heat? Is it Al Pacino
It's Al Pacino and Robert De Niro
and Val Kilmer?
and Val Kilmer and Henry Rollins.
Al Pacino is bad in Heat. I'm gonna go out there and say it.
No. No, he's not.
I finally pushed you too far. He's fucking shit.
No. Al Pacino has given a lot of what I would call terrible performances. Son of a Woman, for example.
Right.
But just because of that insane line reading, she's got a great ass!
That's
But
the
like-
best bit. That's the best bit of the movie.
But like, yeah, he's great. He's great, and I love it because he's the cop. And like, De Niro should be the cop, and Pacino should be the criminal.
But somebody
Yeah.
fucked up in casting, and we end up with Heat. Yeah, not a fan.
He rules the hidden rules. Sam is wrong here. And that's the end of the podcast. No more words.